بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم وبعد أحبة في الله. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes and defines believers in different forms and in different ways in the Holy Quran. In Surah Al-Mu'minun, the first ayah of this surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Certainly will the believers have succeeded. Certainly, believers have succeeded. Believers will attain success. Believers have attained success. But to be named with a certain name, you have to have some of the qualification. You cannot be known as an engineer without learning engineering. You cannot be known as a Hafiz al-Quran without memorizing the Holy Quran. You cannot be known as, whatever the name might be, without going deep and learning such course. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning about believers, but there are some qualifications as a believer should go through. And one of it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues saying that الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Who are the believers, brothers and sisters in Islam? Believers are those who are humble in their salah. They perform their salahs with humbleness. These are the true believers in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when you're performing your salah, be humble. You are standing before your creator. So be humble. Perform your salah with humbleness. In doing so is a quality of the believer. Secondly, the second qualification that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions is وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ. And believers, when you're talking about believers, are those that avoid, that abstain, that turn away from al-laghu, from ill speech, from useless talk. Nowadays, if a friend meets with other friend, their conversation, most of the conversation is ill conversation. It's wrong conversation, maybe backbiting someone. So the real believer, the true believer is الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ. Those who turn away, those who avoid ill speech, useless talk. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِلزَّكَاةِ فَاعِلُونَ. This is another qualification of the believers. Brothers and sisters in Islam, we need to understand and learn all these qualifications. And those who pay zakah, those whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed them with money, and they spend out for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ. Ya Rabbi. Now, this is something that we need to understand mostly. And believers, for a believer to be a believer, he has to go through these qualifications, saying that وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ. And those who protect, those who safeguard their private parts. Ya Rabbi. Brothers and sisters in Islam, how many of us nowadays protect their private parts? We can confirm that now fornication has become as something that people don't care about it. But keep in mind, for you to be successful in this dunya, in the hereafter, you need to avoid this. Safeguarding private parts. Safeguarding private parts. Brothers and sisters in Islam, this is something that you need to ponder over it and ask yourself, are you amongst them or not? If not, change from now. Change from now. Because you have heard a message, you have received a message, you need to act on it. There are many qualities that describe a believer, but it caught my attention to express these few qualities. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all success in this dunya and the hereafter. Ameen. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ala al-Nabiy al-Ummi, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.